On the Christmas Eve of 2008, my uncle gave me my first ever Game Boy, and with it came one of my favorite games, Pokemon Fire Red. It's the first game I ever played, and the reason behind I chose to pursue a career in the gaming field. Hi, my name is Arjun, and I am a game artist. Like many of you watching right now, I too have been
You need
disappointed
to
by
stop
the
every.
recent additions of Pokemon being rather mediocre. So this time, instead of waiting for Game Freak to produce a good enough game for us, I have decided to take matters into my own hand.
I'll do it myself.
So, welcome to the first episode, guys. Now, before we get into this, let's set a few ground rules. First of all, this project should be realistic. No, not that realism. What I mean is, the size and scope of this project should be within the capabilities of a one man team like me. So, for that, we'll be using some tools to make this process as efficient as possible. For the game engine, we will be using Unreal 5. It has some really nice tools built into it to streamline our process, like visual scripting with blueprints, which allows us to skip the coding part and implement rather any functionality as long as you know the logic behind it. Take this for example. All I have to do is drag this out and bada bing, bada boom. Oh, ugh. Anyways, so now we have Unreal for the game side of things. What about the assets, you ask? Now that's where Blender comes in. Blender is an open source 3D software. I've been using it my entire career now, and it can pretty much do everything at this point. Whether it be modeling, texturing, sculpting, animation, you name it, Blender's got it. I'll be also using Substance Painter, Substance Designer, and Cascador along with Blender to make these assets for my game myself. Now, the art style I'm envisioning myself is similar to Legend of Zelda Windwaker with low pooling models, kind of leaning towards a cartoonish style. By the way, I've also been keeping track of my development process using an app called Obsidian. It's a really good local database software for things like this. I believe this is a really crucial thing to do from the start, or else down the line you'll be confused as why things the way they are. So, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about what even is this game. Well, an astute listener could have probably guessed by now. This is going to be a creature collection game at its core. But instead of Pokemon, we are going to be collecting what I call spirits. Yeah, I know, it's a real original name. In this world, spirits are kind of like the manifestations of nature or just rather anything. And people who can enter into a contract with these spirits are called summoners. Now, I want this to be a semi open world game. While the size of the world itself is small, for the person who is playing, it feels big. A perfect example for this is an indie game called A Short Hike. In A Short Hike, you play as a bird person thingy that is climbing up a mountain. It's a really short of a game that I recommend to everyone. Similar to the structure of Skyward Sword, we are gonna separate our playable areas and then stitch them up together so the player can move seamlessly between each other. Another thing that is gonna help us in this regard is the perspective of our camera. With a fixed camera, we can carefully craft every scene that the player can see in the game. Kind of similar to that of the old school Pokemon games and the roguelike Hades. This also allows us to cheat a little bit. because the player won't be able to see beyond the bounds of our camera, we can make the world as vast and complex as possible without worrying about things like draw distance or anything like that. On the other hand, if we were to give the camera control to the player, this kind of setup would need a lot more back-end work and optimization. The reason why Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild can render out their very complex landscape and world on a limited hardware such as Switch is because of the insane amount of optimization done by their developers. Otherwise, instead of it looking like this, we would have gotten this. So we have our ideas and we have our tools. What do we do now? Our main goal is to collect all kind of spirits, right? So here's how that works. You explore the world, you get to see new spirits. You can battle them or you can run away. But that's for little babies. So you have two options left. Beat them till you become friends or till they faint. Now if you choose this, you get stronger. On the other hand, if you capture them, well, congrats I guess.
You're my
Now,
friend
doing
now.
this means that you have access to a new moves that you didn't have before. So say when you were exploring before, you couldn't get to somewhere. Maybe one of these moves will help you. Now we know how the basic gameplay loop works. So how do we battle with these spirits? Imagine this is the player. Now from all of our spirits, we can select 5 and assign them to an active roster. And then, as long as you have the required mana, you can summon them. While a spirit is summoned, the player will enter a sort of phantom state, where only the summon will get damaged. And your mana will begin draining slowly. Once it runs out, you'll be back to your human form once again. So, how do you get your mana back? To explain that, we need to dive a little bit deep into the combat system. Instead of a turn-based system similar to Pokémon, the combat will resemble that of Hades. While the player character will wield their sword, each spirit will have 4 separate moves. The player and each of the spirits will also have their own health bars. Which means, while battling as a spirit, if your health runs out, you'll just turn back into your human form and you won't be able to use that particular spirit for the time being. But if your human health runs out, it's game over. Now for mana, things are a little bit different, since both of these forms will share a single mana meter. And the only way to recharge it is by taking your and whacking the enemies with it. So that's pretty much it. That's a game. At least that's all I can show you right now. Now, this video was supposed to be a really short one, but somehow it ended up being like over 8 minutes now. So we're just gonna wrap it up with this. Also, thank you so much for sticking around till the end. And forgive me if you couldn't understand what I'm saying. English is not my first language. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.